please take a moment to like, share, and subscribe. So today is August 5th and it's about 4 a.m. and I'm going through Twitter to see what's going on. I believe yesterday when I saw Hugo's video, he said something about court document supposed to release something about Meghan's whether or not they could release Meghan's name or something like that. So I was looking for this, but as I'm going through Twitter, I'm seeing a lot of posts about pretty much the Sussex squads. I feel like I just came from a party and then it's like a after, what do you call this? It's like I need some drink to sort of put me back in place or something like that. Can't remember the term, but a lot of Sussex squads are posting saying, well, like it was like 3 hours ago, like, man, we really show out for Meghan's birthday. Which other princess you know? So giving ourselves a round of applause, and this is why I stand Meghan Markle. So yeah, people are still talking about her birthday party.
Being a role model to everyone across the world, because Meghan doesn't only use her title as Duchess of Sussex. She's Meghan Markle, actor, director, mother, wife, and I just love how much she's like used her platform to spread world causes, and she's done so much good.
I'm not gonna watch all of it, but I thought that was nice. You could see why Harry fell in love with her. Yeah, so people are still talking about her birthday. Okay, upgrade your timeline. Okay, here for Meghan, Harry, and Archie, Port Sussex. Okay. Okay, the artist also known as Chris. Okay, Sussex then, like the names. Okay. So yeah. So people are still talking about it, but I was looking to see what the court said about her friend, what they say about it, if they could make it public. Okay, Princess Meghan Markle had the best birthday. Home, love, with baby, with mom, with hubby, with the best fans, away from toxic environment, aka UK. Oh my God. Yeah, that is true. She deserves a like. So I'm gonna stop now, and if I see anything about the court, I'll share it with you guys. So yeah, that's it for now.
A few moments later.
I just saw, yeah, how long before we add global to her name, as in global Meghan Markle, because that's kind of immense outpour of worldwide love and recognition is this. Never seen anything like this before. Meg 39. Yep. You realize British Vogue didn't wish Meghan a happy birthday. That's right, I didn't see that. They did for all the others. Almost all magazine and news outlets have. Hope everyone remember this and spend your money wisely. Spend it on a grateful and deserved magazine. Shame on you, Edward Enninful. Wow. Okay, let me see this first before I go back to that. Let me see what some people have said. A true patron of the heart, unrestricted by borders, race, class, or background. A global queen for sure. As I'm seeing all of this, I'm thinking of the school that she went to. You know, they must be proud of her because they taught her a lot. Not only her mom, but in terms of charitable causes, you know, Meghan has spoke about how in her senior class she had to do some sort of volunteering as a class project and stuff like that. So she went to a good school. I have to give prop where prop is due. Okay, Meghan is way too humble for that. The fact that people call her just Meghan without her last name or title, HRH. Her personality, reliability, being a mother, wife, and charity work speaks for itself. That is what makes her global without saying it, and yesterday proved it. That is true. I don't know where I saw that comment yesterday. Someone said something. I could have been, okay, someone said something. What is it? Why they don't remove Duchess? Yes, I think Duchess Sussex. Remove that. I didn't respond to it because I didn't want any back and forth and stuff. And as far as I'm concerned, they could take that away from her too. And someone responded and said, you know, because she's married to Harry, so she has to have that. But as far as I'm concerned, I don't think Harry and Meghan cares about any title. But I didn't respond to that comment because then what I really wanted to say to them probably would be going back and forth, and I don't have time for that. So I just left it as that. I was trying to say relatability, not reliability. Where is the edit button? Yep. Twitter need edit button. Someone said her name was Heard and Gilead Sussex Squad Comedy Central. Huh. I probably will look for that. Global Queen. Love always win. Yes. So all of this need a like, but okay. Meghan is getting more love than the last president of the USA. That is true. Even on the video that I did for her birthday, I think I only put one or two picture that has Obama in it, and it was right next to Meghan. I had a blackout, so I didn't have time to really do all of that. To really do the way I wanted to do the video, because by that time I think it was like 9 something, and I didn't want to spend too much time, and I wanted to put it out before the day was over, and it was already 9:30. Okay, what a glorious birthday. Well, the day is almost over. Tomorrow is all about Harry, and his birthday is official, 5 weeks away. Let's start tomorrow, inspired by Prince Harry. Yep. Alright, let's go back to the other tweet. This one. Oh, it's a thread. Okay, someone reply, we're hidden by the tweet author. That's fine. Alright, okay, that's about the British Vogue not wishing her happy birthday. If you're following British Vogue, unfollow them. Don't buy it. Hit them where it hurts. Let's see what they agreed. A lot of people agreed. They do it for all the other royals on their birthday on their Instagram page. Shame on you, Edward. But check today and see if there's anything for M. Okay. Alright, so yeah, people are pissed. I won't even hold my breath. They already trained they suppress them in a way where they've been like a freaking robot. Alright, who remember how the far right used to drum up how Meghan is going to be the end of the monarchy, and that Graham clown repeated it, that she is going to be their demise. Turns out Meghan will have been their savior with her popularity, while Andrew is calling and loudly. What did they say here? The real downfall for the monarchy will be William. I can bet on it. Okay, happy birthday, Queen Meghan. Alright, there's her. I know about this, the Beirut explosion, but I don't want to talk about this. Alright, so I thought these two tweets were were very interesting, especially about them not talking, the magazine not talking about it. Anyway, so that's it for now. Still looking for see if they post anything about Meghan's friend's name, if they release that.
One eternity later.
So after seeing that tweet where they were talking about him, Edward Enninful, I decided, I knew about this the other day. Actually, it was a day before Meghan's birthday, but I didn't really bring it up. But I decided to go into it to see what it's really about. So Edward Enninful, I hope I pronounced his last name correct, hit headlines when he became editor-in-chief of British Vogue, making him the first black person at the helm of the magazine. But his fame did not help him avoid being racial profiled at Condé London office in early July. Alright, so let me go into it and see what they're saying. Okay, what did they say here? I'll read the article in a few, but I'm curious what the thing is saying. The comments. He's a liar. He's Russia element. He has reduced the dollar and during 43 days, gold $6. What? It's a disaster. USA and Portland, noble people and loyal National Guard make up new government. Okay, so maybe he said something in the article that relates to that. What is that? 2%, sir. 1, rise of challenge and above. 2, run like a cheap suit and complain. Winners have the habit of making believe out of critics. Article shows which side, if the affirmative action equation this fellow fall on. Business is competitive. Compete or go home. Did he cover up all his black skin? What? I heard that the best way to avoid being racial. Oh, that's stupid. Zimbabwe is facing a massive human rights crisis. What is that? Football. Okay, so let me go. The comment kind of seemed off, but let me see what they say. British Vogue editor-in-chief Edward Enninful called for more education after racial profiling incident. All right, let's see. Okay, Edward headline when he became editor-in-chief British Vogue more than 2 years ago, making him the first black person at the helm of the magazine. Okay, so there's the...
Enninful, welcome to the program.
Thank you for having me.
So I don't really know how to describe the September issue for non-fashion devotees. I mean, it's like Wimbledon, the US Open, the NBA Championship, the Super Bowl, all put together, right, for the fashion industry. Yeah. What makes it so important?
Well, someone said September is the January of fashion. So in our industry, you know, it's the one issue where everything comes together, all the stories, all the editorials, all the advertisers. Really, it's our fashion week in a sense. So yeah, the September issue is really the most important issue of the year.
And you've done something pretty different this time. You've got Meghan Harriman as your cover photographer.
Yes, yes.
So tell me why that's important.
So Meghan Harriman is the first black photographer sort of to photograph the cover of a September British Vogue issue. And ever in the history. And he worked with my fashion editor, who's also black, Donna Wallace, and a whole black team. And I think they brought something so authentic to the whole project. And for me, it was very important that we had a black team behind this.
Because, you know, you pull out this, as I think you call it the gate?
The gatefold.
The gatefold. And it's all these amazing Black Lives Matter activists. Even Jane Elliott, who is white, has done so much on the history of racism and the biology or the psychology of it. It's really incredible. You, since you took the helm 3 years ago, you said you were going to make a difference, and you made a difference. There were virtually, I think it was something like 12 black covers in 25 years of Vogue history, British Vogue. How has it been? What's the reaction been? And how do you feel about being in the vanguard of this cultural shift?
I mean, I remember when I got the job, I thought, what would I want to see in Vogue? And it was really, you know, I looked around the people I knew, I looked around the streets of all the major cities, and I just really wanted to represent what I saw in the magazine, which was inclusivity, diversity, you know, a place for women of all shapes, sizes, ages, colours to look and see themselves reflected. So that's what I really wanted to do. And the reaction has been so great from the industry, from you know, regular people to people like yourself. And I never thought it would sort of go this well, but I'm very happy it did.
And now, I wonder if you ever imagined that you'd be in the midst of this political, cultural, social movement and be, again, on the front lines of this, because there's so much talk about change. And I just wonder whether for you it's a burden, is it an opportunity? Do you believe that it will continue, or is it a moment in time?
I mean, you know, I've always done what I've done from, you know, early on in my career. I've always sort of been about inclusivity, really, and sort of focusing on people you can label as the other, or people who've been othered. So I just wanted to bring them into this conversation. And I think what's happening now in the world is a great thing, because people are talking about subjects they never did before. Hard subjects, you know, racism, unemployment, you know, climate change. So the magazine, what we've been doing over the years, sort of, is now the perfect conversation starter, really. But it wasn't planned that way. Just every month we try to sort of reflect what we see in the world out there.
I also find it really interesting because during lockdown you've had several different issues, obviously, and several different, I guess, political or, again, cultural messages. One of them was Reset. Yes. And it's about how you build back better, I guess, and how the nature and the environment. So you do not just fashion and the other, but also climate and what was Reset for you?
Reset for me was this idea of people thinking that we would go back to the world as it was before. I knew that world was gone. It was a new day. We had to reset not just the environment, but also our minds, our perspectives. And so for me, the word reset just meant a fresh start. You know, let's start all over. So for me personally, reset was needed, if you ask me. We were going too fast. You know, too many seasons, too many shows, too many designers, so much waste. So I think research just sort of made all of us think and take a deep breath, really.
So your cover features Marcus Rashford, the footballer who stepped out of his zone and did something political and again social to help children. Yes, he forced the British government to keep their school lunches program, yes, right? Did. Because they were going to cancel it.
Yes, he did.
You've got Adwa Aboa on the cover too. Now, she is your first cover
girl.
And I interviewed her shortly after she was your first cover girl. So, and this is important, I think, because again, as I said, there were only 12 black models on Vogue covers in 25 years. So I asked her, does this really mean a real shift? This is what she replied.
Yeah, complete. As long as it's not a fad, as long as it's not a trend, and definitely with Edward, it's not. He has been advocating diversity for years and years and years.
Edward, I want to ask you, because you have seen so many fashion brands, corporations, everybody is rushing to join the Black Lives Matter bandwagon. Adwa said 3 years ago, as long as this is not a fad and just a moment. What does your gut tell you?
I mean, my gut feeling is, you know, whenever there's a moment, yes, people will jump on. But for me, I feel that we need to sort of call out all the different companies. It's not just enough having black models on your Instagram feeds or, you know, in magazines, because that's the norm now. But we need education. We need people behind the scenes who can get a seat at the table. We need, you know, bursaries for people. We need to find different ways of recruitment. For me, for this to last, people need to be behind the scenes. It's imperative.
Is it extraordinary for you, because you said, you know, Misan Harriman's cover had a whole black team behind him. We heard a lot 3 years ago when Tyler Mitchell did the first cover. He was the first black photographer to photograph US Vogue, and it was Beyonce done in a very sort of royal and an amazing way. And I guess, is it extraordinary that it's taken this long to have a black photographer do the cover?
Yes.
I mean, seriously.
Yeah, I mean, it's extraordinary, I guess. You know, fashion is so sort of trend-based and so cyclical, and, you know, what's happening now and what's cool now. But where British Vogue is concerned, I had Nadine Ejwari, the first black female photographer to photograph a cover, January 2 years ago. So for me, the conversation just was natural and progresses naturally. I didn't want to wait for things to happen to jump on the bandwagon. And I feel some companies are virtue signaling, and that's the fear. But the ones who are doing real work are sort of doing all these things behind the scenes and not necessarily telling the whole world about it.
So in this edition, you have a layout, a beautiful layout by Tyler Mitchell.
Yes.
And I want to ask you, because he, you know, he's spoken quite a lot about what it meant and what he photographs. He's got a new book and an exposition, an exhibit, that's titled "I Can Make You Feel Good." And in a nutshell, as he puts it, is the radical concept of seeing black people at leisure. And he called it revolutionary. Yeah. And to me, that seems very political. Do you think it is?
Yeah, I mean, you know, we're always, you know, seeing, you know, at work, you know, sportsmen, and the idea, and it's reflected in the story he shot for us, a couple wandering around Brooklyn wearing English checks in Brooklyn. So I love that, the contrast. But I think it is revolutionary, because we're not seen as, you know, out there, you know, playing golf. You know, we're always working, or we're always, you know, protesting. And I think we need to be seen in a different light. And people like Tyler, people like, you know, Misan really continue to show that black lives are not just one thing. We're a varied race. We do lots of different things. We have lots of different faces. So yeah, it is political in a way.
Because that's interesting, because I don't know how many Vogue editors admit to also being political.
Yeah, I mean, you know, I wouldn't even sound political, but I do know, I believe in education. I believe in educating sort of people, and I also believe in using my platform, whether it's, you know, my social media or the magazine, to help the world sort of understand.
Anna Wintour, she wrote about how sorry she was that there hasn't been historically enough inclusivity and the right working conditions and all the rest of it, inside and outside the cover. Do you think she's addressed it enough? Has she put that issue to bed, so to speak? Are you happy with the culture at Vogue and Condé Nast in general?
I mean, you know, I can't speak for Anna Wintour, I have to be very honest. But all I can say is I'm trying to do the best I can in Britain for British Vogue. And that means, going back to what we talked about, you know, recruitment, you know, mentoring somebody, for me, is the greatest thing you could do. I had great mentors. So I make sure that I mentor people, that I advocate for the young, you know, the young. And here in this building in England, we don't take diversity lightly, or inclusivity, or unconscious bias, or, you know, microaggressions. We tackle this every day. We just brought in a sort of just, you know, diversity and inclusion officer. So I can speak for England and say, I won't stop until one day, you know, everyone's equal, really.
So you said in your Vogue editor's letter, June, I'm lucky to have enormous privilege in my world, but as a man of colour and as a gay man, I could not escape the sense that it doesn't matter what you've achieved or what you've contributed to society, your life can still feel worthless. And shortly a month after that, there was a very famous incident when you came into this building and the security directed you to the loading bay. How did you feel in that moment?
You know, to be honest with you, as a black man, it's not the first time I've been profiled, and it certainly won't be the last. But also, it wasn't an isolated incident. That's what I wanted to let you know. And for me...
You mean it happened to you before here?
Yes, it wasn't an isolated incident, because I believe in education to a point. But also,
I was going to ask you that, actually. Would it have been a teachable moment?
Yes, there was a teachable moment, but it gets to a point where it's gone past that. Had I been younger, I might have been so upset I wouldn't be able to say anything. But now, I can talk about it. I've got the platform to speak about it, and I don't want this to happen to the next generation, to think it's okay, that kind of behaviour.
Tell me about your route to Vogue from Ladbroke Grove, which is a very, you know, actually, maybe when you were growing up, and it was very ethnically diverse, wasn't it? Yeah. I mean, Ladbroke Grove, Notting Hill was very, you know...
The most diverse.
Yeah.
I mean, I grew up with sort of, you know, black, white, Asian, gay, straight. For me, that was my world. And I remember I was spotted on a train by a famous stylist to be a model, so I did that for a couple of years. And then I was introduced to a magazine called ID, but I was always surrounded by my friends, you know. For me, what I learned from growing up in Ladbroke Grove is when we go up together, we all win. So I wasn't the one that had to be the only black person. I wanted my friends with me, so I brought my friends, Pat McGrath, you know, other hairdressers, because together we all won. So that's how I started, and then I ended up sort of working on all these incredible stories for Franca Sanzani at Italian Vogue, who would literally make my dreams come true. She'd, you know, commission everything. I showed her, and then I worked at American Vogue for a bit, and then I was creative director at W magazine. But through my whole journey, the message has always been one of inclusivity. It's not something I just started now, or even just started at Vogue. From my first ID cover was of a beautiful black singer called Rosala, and I was a teenager then. So for me, I've just sort of honed my voice and made mistakes and learned from them to arrive here today.
And then had a louder voice the bigger the platform.
Exactly, exactly.
If Anna Wintour was to retire in any way, form or fashion, would you answer the call if they asked you to edit US Vogue?
I mean, it would be rude not to answer anyone's call, but I'm very happy where I am.
You are a diplomat, Edward Enninful. Meghan Markle, when you were very vocal about your hope for the young generation of royals. And of course, she guest edited one of your issues. And now they've decided to retire from royal duties, Meghan and Harry. What's your reaction to that?
I mean, the Meghan I know, we're very close, is very intelligent. She's a great feminist, and she does what is good for her and her soul, really. Working with Meghan on the September issue is one of the best experiences I've had, because she's able to match you creatively, you know, politically, And I think whatever she's chosen to do now, whatever they've chosen, she really would have thought about it. And she'll be okay.
The iconic music magazine Q is folding after 34 years.
That's so sad.
Do you see, and Oprah's O is going online exclusively, do you see that ever happening to Vogue, or are you confident that Vogue can keep its paper issue?
I think Vogue would definitely always keep its paper issue. You know, it's the ultimate voice. It's the ultimate fashion Bible. And the beauty of Vogue now is that it's not just about the beautiful shoes and the dresses. You know, it talks about society and what's going on out, you know, going on out there in the world. That's what we're discussing. So I think Vogue will be around, but what is great now is the whole digital empire around it as well. You know, we take that very seriously.
One last question to wrap up on the September issue. If you were to say in a few words, what do you want the message of this issue at this time to be?
I want the message to be, despite the fact that we're going through probably one of the hardest periods in history, despite the fact that there's racism, you know, despite the fact that, you know, the world is not in its best place, these are people led by women, and we know, you know, women have had a hard time over the past, you know, in life generally, but especially the past 4 months, you know, through COVID, women have really, you know, whether it's healthcare, employment, women have really gone through a lot. And I love the fact that this movement in 2020, activism, is led by women. Women are resilient, and so that's what I'm most proud of.
Fantastic. Edward Enninful, thank you very much indeed.
Thank you.
I'm not even gonna read the article. I'm assuming whatever he said on the video is what is written. I'll put the link in the description if you guys want to check it out. But while I was watching it and listening to him, I put a couple of notes for myself, and it's not really neat because the scrap paper I had on my desk. Okay, what did I have here? Country and people, Industrial Revolution, Beetle, George Michael. That's some notes I put. I don't know what I don't remember. I hope I remember what I was thinking when I wrote these. And I said using his platform for social media to help Britain. He won't stop until everyone is equal. And I thought he was very passive about his racism incident, how he is helping about his incident, and what is good for her and her soul, I think, is a comment he made about Meghan. That part seems like for some reason, maybe I'm wrong, for some reason he seemed to make Meghan seem somewhat selfish in that comment. I don't know how you guys see it. And black couple reject a white contractor. So couple things. So these are some notes I put for myself. As I was watching this and I was thinking, plus the previous tweet comments that I was seeing, I read earlier, it made me feel like Britain is like in a decline. Because prior to all of this, and this is where I put Industrial Revolution and Beatles and George Michael and some black actor, I felt like Britain had produced a lot of great things. You know, the Industrial Revolution started in Britain. You have the Beatles that came from Britain. You have George Michael that came from Britain. And, you know, these were the heyday of Britain. A lot of good product came from Britain. And then when you look at, I'll look for his picture. I don't remember his name, and I never knew he was British. He's a black actor. I've seen many films of his. And it was recently that there was an interview about him where he said he had to come to America to be recognized for his work and abilities, because if he was in Britain, he will be rejected. He will never be where he is now as a good actor. So when I look at this interview, you know, it made me think a lot. And I thought when his racism incident where the security guard told him to use a different entrance, I thought he would stand out more to speak out more about it, unless if I didn't see anything. But in this interview, he seemed so passive about it. And that's what brought me to say the black couple who reject the white contractor. If I see the video, I'll put it. There was this African American couple who hire a white contractor. And when the contractor came on the day of the job, I assume, he had a Confederate flag hanging on his truck. And then the woman stood up and said, I'm sorry, pretty much reject him and said, you're not going to work for me because you, I guess, glorify the Confederate flag and stuff like that. She spoke up. And the husband, on the other hand, who should have been there, standing up for her and stuff, he seemed so passive about it. And I'm seeing the same thing with this guy. Very passive about it. So that's what those notes that I put, these are the things that came to me when I was thinking about it. And he said he's using his platform to talk about social media, to help elevate, stuff and things. I don't think he's doing it in a way that I felt like he could have, especially his incident that happened to him. Again, like I said, maybe there's something about that came out, but he seemed very passive about it. Plus, yesterday was Meghan's birthday. This is why some of the people, Twitter users, were talking about that. How come he didn't put something out wishing her a happy birthday? So I could see where some of those Twitter comments are coming from, and I'm starting to feel the same thing about him. I mean, like I said, there's a lot of people I don't follow. I go on Twitter and I read about it and I just move on. And I could see the same thing with this guy, Edward Enninful. I think he could have been much stronger with his position, but I'm not seeing that. Okay, I think I'm gonna cut this video short because I was looking for Meghan's court issue, if they were gonna release their name. It seems that gonna be on a different video on its own because this one is already long. So yeah, came for one thing and become something else. So thanks for watching. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and share. And please share your thought about what I've said about this interview, the CNN interview. And I'll put the link in the description. You guys could check it out yourself. As you can see, I did not read the article. I only listened to the video. Yeah, so thanks for watching.
You gonna do it? You want me to do it? Hi. Hi, how you doing? You know what? I do apologize. I know you've come from a very long way, but we're going to use someone else.
She's upset with the flag.
No, I'm beyond upset with the flag. No, you don't need to take it down. You continue to believe what you need to believe, sir. But no, I cannot pay you for your services. Thank you. Have a good day.